Dr. A has invited some of our top health coaches to be with us today. And so Dr. A and Dave and I are going to do the primary presentation and talk amongst ourselves, but we've got these certified health coaches there that will be taking some of your questions. We're assuming with the amount of people that are here, almost 600 already. Oop, we just went over 600. We're going to have lots of questions coming in. So we're going to have some help from Nancy and Amber and Dan Valentine, as well as Susan Palance. So we're super excited that you've joined us.
Great. Well, Craig and I both have an amazing transformation story using the principles that Dr. A is going to talk about today, as well as our panelists and a lot of our participants. So you may be a guest of somebody that posted something on Facebook or sent you an email invite, and we're glad you're here today. You may also be a client of the program or a health coach of the program, and we're excited that everybody is participating to learn more about how to create optimal health in their life. In terms of specifics, we're not going to get into the laser specifics for each one of our individual needs, but we're going to get into some really good quality information about how to eat right, how to exercise, and how to get to the point where you can really create a healthier and more fulfilled you. Well, some of you already know who Dr. A is, but just for those of you that are brand new and just being introduced to Dr. A, he's one of the most foremost physicians in nutritional intervention. He's also the best-selling author of the groundbreaking book, Dr. A's Habits of Health, and the New York Times bestseller, Discover Your Optimal Health. Dr. Wayne Andersen has devoted his career to forging new territory in the realm of creating optimal health through a comprehensive approach that addresses and breaks through logistical and psychological barriers. The desire for knowledge and understanding drove Dr. Andersen to become one of the first in his family to enter college and graduate with honors from the University of Florida with a degree in science. Ultimately, he went to medical school at the University of Health Sciences in Kansas City, where he was a valedictorian of his graduating class. Dr. Andersen did his internship at the Grandview Hospital, where he was selected as the outstanding intern of the year. He was also he was on to become one of the leading, going on to internal medicine specialists in cardiology and pulmonology, but he decided to enter the emerging subspecialty of critical care. Dr. A trained in the open heart surgery at Cleveland Clinic and then went to train for 2 years at Jackson Memorial Hospital at the University of Miami, considered to be the premier training program in the country in surgical intensive care. Dr. Andersen became the 10th physician board certified in critical care and went back to the institution where he began his postgraduate training to set up the open heart program and surgical intensive care unit. It was there that Dr. Andersen developed a profound understanding in the pivotal role that nutrition plays in disease and health. For 18 years, Dr. Andersen directed the surgical critical care program at Grandview and was chairman of the Department of Anesthesiology. And in 2000, to all of our benefit, he made the monumental decision to leave his hospital-based practice to devote his full energy to helping people to become and stay healthy. He's now the co-founder of Take Shape for Life, an organization in the emerging field of health coaching. He also serves as its medical director and a reviewer for the Critical Care Medicine Journal in the area of nutrition. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Dr. Wayne Andersen.
Well, thanks, David, and welcome everybody. I'm pretty excited today, and that was a very humbling introduction, but more humbling is today you can see I have my Maryland Twisters. I'm actually out in Dallas. My 15-year-old daughter is in the national championships for cheerleading, and I'm going to be a spectator along and really a proud dad today. But I'm really happy to be able to come to you guys. Very excited today because, you know, for all of us, I want to make sure that we all struggle with our health. It's very difficult. We'll talk about our biological design versus where we live. But the cool thing is, if we work on it, we work together, we've created something which we believe will make it easier for you and put you in position to change your health. And the nice thing about it is you can use this any way you want, but hopefully during this hour, there's something that will click in you that will say, you know what, I'm ready to get a little healthier. So excited to be here, David.
Great. We have this quote up from Buckminster Fuller about you never change things by fighting the existing reality. You change something and build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. Talk about that shift in the year 2000 where you went out there and kind of started pursuing this new model, and give us an introduction to Take Shape for Life.
Well, that's exactly right. It is a major shift. I spent the first 20 years in all those prestigious universities you talked about, learning my craft, which was critical care, which was really at the highest level of sophistication, using technology, using the latest Star Wars spin-offs, the latest medications to keep people alive, to keep them from dying. I was reacting to disease, and I did that for 20 years. It was kind of like people floating down the river. I was pulling them out, resuscitating them so they didn't drown, but never really going upstream and fixing what was a hole in the bridge that they were falling through. So that shift is taking me a while. Really, critical care is pretty well spelled out over 100 years of medical evaluation and evolution. But actually creating health is something that is much more monumental, much more complex to understand, because every individual has choices every day, all day long, and a lot of things come together there. And when I left and started looking at it, I knew that diets didn't work. 85% of people that go on a diet gain their weight back within 2 years. So I knew we were taking out a white piece of paper, and we're going to have to do this journey together. So it's taken 15 years to really have a clear understanding of what it takes to create optimal health in people's lives.
Well, that's one of the first questions we want to throw out to you, Dr. A. And I know that this is a big question for a short period of time, but a lot of people are just asking themselves, how do I get healthy and stay that way? Because many people have done something and then fallen back.
Yeah, and that oscillating structure is caused because we try to use things outside of ourselves to create health. And health is an inside job. It requires a change in your orientation. Just like I had to switch and take out a white piece of paper to help build the model, people have to make the decision first that they want to get healthy. That's the key. Without that, I was on a plane last night with a gentleman, and we were talking, and he said, well, will this thing help or will that thing? I said, none of those things will help unless you are awakened to the possibilities and it's something you want. So that's really where it starts, David.
Well, there's a big question that you throw out to all of us just to kind of help us to change our perspective of what's possible is, if you could achieve optimal health, would you want it? Would you explain a little further on that?
Yeah, it's pretty big because most people are, they're not feeling well, they've gained some weight, their clothes don't fit well, they're on a medication, their doctor said they're pre-diabetic. All of us are exposed to the ravages, that we live in an intrinsically unstable world. And if left and we don't really take consciousness of it, we really basically continue on and we're always reacting. If you really think about it, if you could achieve optimal health, and what I always ask people to do is for a moment, just visualize that. If you could do the things you really want to do, when you look out and you see maybe people your age that are playing with their grandkids and they're running around or they're on a bike, or a mom that's pushing her child, all those things are things that you potentially want. And what we talk about is organizing your life around what matters most. And as you look at the trilogy here and look at this diagram, we all want more. And I can tell you that what I find is when I help people get focused on that and have direction to it, and they start to explore it, it's possible. In fact, it's probable if they stay the course and they have the proper comprehensive approach to do that. Now, I wish you look at this lake that there was blue-green algae in the bottom of that lake that could somehow miraculously do it for you. But again, it has to come from with you first. So I always like to ask that question because, what I see is when people make the decision, I watch their lives they have vibrant, radiant health. They feel alive. The sky is bluer. And all those things are possible. But we have to make the decision that, we're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and we want to actually be better because it just creeps up on you and you don't realize why you feel so bad. One of the most popular things, people still go to their doctor to get their vitamin B12 shot because they want more energy. Well, basically we can give them more energy, and it's in a pill if I could take exercise and movement and put it in a pill and healthy food. But we can help you with that. You just have to make that decision.
Well, you've got this step-by-step process and helping kind of meet people where they're at. Talk a little bit more about these 6 steps and how it applies to pretty much anybody that is interested in getting healthier.
Well, it applies to 95%. 5% of our population is optimally healthy. The other 95% isn't. And people, we know this. We know that basically 68% of us are overweight or obese. So most of us are starting with reaching a healthy weight. The other thing, obviously, is the cessation of cigarette smoking. That and reaching a healthy weight are the 2 things we do have control over. And so what we like to do, and we'll talk about it in a moment here, is we actually have a stepwise fashion. What I find is when we do it in baby steps across the whole spectrum of the choices we make day in and day out, we can actually overcome that fear, that procrastination, all those things that keep us from moving forward. But the bottom line is, just like New Year's resolutions don't work, and by the first week in March, everybody's out of the gym, the same thing applies here. We want to do it in steps with the support, with the tools, and with the blueprint of the habits of health. So we do it so it's progressive. Remember, creating health is a journey of a lifetime. You don't do it. That's why diets, by the way, and we'll talk more about that, don't work. You can't do something for a short period of time. This is about changing your orientation where health is part of your everyday life. So why do diets and detoxes fail? Exactly for that reason. People go on a diet thinking that a short period of time, when they do something that's restrictive, where they're not eating all the things they want to, and they deny themselves. Well, basically the way our brain works, I'll just give you an example. So you've been on this, I don't know, pineapple diet or something. You've been on it for 6 weeks. You lost 7 pounds and you're struggling, and you're out at dinner with some friends, and all of a sudden the friends look the other way and they have a piece of cheesecake, and your subconscious looks and says, wow, there's a bunch of calories right there, and I'm really hungry, and I haven't had anything like that, and you don't even realize it. You look over and boom, you ate the whole thing before you knew it, and you're off your diet, you're worthless, you're failed once again. Doesn't work that way. So what we're about is stop yo-yoing, stop thinking you can take a pill or go on this thing that you saw on Saturday morning on TV, and really just make the decision that, you know what I'm going to do? I'm fundamentally going to change my philosophy. I'm going to focus on creating health as something I want to bring into being. That's why early on when we talked to what does optimal health look like, once you understand what you really want, and then you put in alignment what those goals are, and then you do what necessarily is every day is necessary in small baby steps, over time you will reach that goal. And because you've changed your behavior now, you've now gone from being on automatic, where you're basically doing 45% of the things you do every day, you're not thinking about. The things you're not thinking about are leading you towards disease. What we're going to do is help awaken you and then teach you the things that are necessary so that now you can focus on creating. I thought this morning, I don't have a gym here, but bottom line, I got down and I did 100 sit-ups. Now, I didn't start off doing 100 sit-ups, but I do 100 sit-ups because I knew, I need to do these things that I actually crave doing these. And I can tell you that 3 months ago, I didn't crave doing them. I would have sat in here and gone down to a buffet and had a heavy laden breakfast, but not this morning. I had a meal replacement, did 100 sit-ups, and I'm ready to go. And I feel great, and I'm reinforcing that. So that's what we're going to help you do.
Well, let's throw it back and ask a question to the participants, Craig, and maybe you have a question regarding some of the content that Dr. Ray's already covered. While that survey's up, he can answer that.
This one here is regarding my health. I know what to do and I'm doing it. I know what to do, but I'm not doing it, or I don't know what to do and I need some help.
That's a great question. I love that.
Great. Go ahead and cast your vote in the next 20 seconds, and we'll close that poll up and share the...
I see smoke coming out of the poll.
Nice. We're almost to 1,000 viewers, so excited about the participation today.
We got about 5-10 seconds left, so vote quick. We got over half people voted already.
Craig, any follow-up questions from the participants on the question of why do diets and detoxes fail, or yo-yo dieting?
Well, one of them actually was pretty interesting. It says, how do I learn how to dream, see myself where I want to be? And I think that relates to why diets don't work, because it might. So
let me talk while we're waiting for the poll. Let me just talk about that. Let me just talk about that for a minute. My screen just went because come in here. I want them to see how cool you look. Can you show?
No.
Come on. You got to come here and see this. This is my baby getting ready. And she just. Anyway, I just wanted to say hi. But let me tell you about dreaming. Dreaming is okay. Dreaming is fine. But you have to put the dream, or what you really want, in association of what the outcomes are. What outcomes is that going to give you? And at the same time, what are the obstacles that will prevent me from doing that? And then we need to sit down, and the coach will do that with you, is put you in position to know how you can preemptively overcome those obstacles when they occur. Because, like when we were little girls and little boys and we watched Disney cartoons and movies on Cinderella and stuff, everybody lives happily ever after, and we think that's the way it's going to be. You have to take command of your health in order to be successful. The cool thing is we're going to help you with it, and being part of a community is a really important part of it. So, Dave, you want me to go on to this question?
Yeah, just in terms of motivation, there's some people that are really highly motivated, highly committed. There's other people that maybe just don't want to, are ready to make that change. Talk about motivation.
Well, motivation is something that's it's again, it is a very important part of our lives. It's an inside job. It is literally about making the decision. This is something you're passionate about. And in this, my emotions right now, hopefully you're sensing, is that I know we can help you, and we help you through awakening you so you want to do it. Health is something that you have to do for the rest of your life. And as you get older, it becomes more difficult to basically stay healthy unless you've adopted these habits. That's why the habits of health are something, whether you're 10 years old, my 15-year-old, basically, she's going to be healthy her whole life because she subscribes to the habits of health. And because of that, those things are part of her natural behaviors. Wherever you are in your life, what we're going to do is awaken you to the possibilities. We're going to give you what's necessary and then put you in position to learn them. But your motivation is that you realize and connect why you want to do it. So why do you want to do it? Because I got to tell you, it's a lot easier right now to make some small changes and live radiant health because we're living longer. On average, males live to be 80 and females to 85 in our country, and we're actually going to teach you to potentially live longer than that. But the reality is most people we're finding are living the last part of their life in very poor health. So what we know now is by adopting these habits and making these changes now, reaching a healthy weight, eating healthier, moving healthier, sleeping, just to put it out there for a second, if you sit by this computer for an hour without moving, that's 22 minutes off your life. So what we're about is actually having you start to understand, and in Discover Your Optimal Health, the New York Times bestselling book, I talk about in the first 7 chapters, we want to awaken you so you realize, like, you know what, not only do I need to do this, but I want to do it because the benefits, the daily benefits of more energy, the daily benefits of being more awake. I mean, I am so excited today to go down with 15,000 young cheerleaders and watch my daughter, and it's an exciting time. I'm not exhausted. It's not the weekend I'm exhausted. I'm actually fired up about doing that. So that's what we want to do. We want to align what you're passionate about and then help you become good at it.
Hey, Dr. A, we had a follow-up question that I think will be kind of along the lines of that same train of thought. When you approach your weight loss goal, why does your weight loss seem to slow down?
Well, that's really good, and a couple of reasons for that. One of them is physiological, one is psychological. Okay, so if you are focusing on losing weight, you're actually doing what I did in medicine, reacting to something. You're trying to get away from something you don't want, right? So as you get closer to it, and you're closer there, you're going to start seeing the benefits. You're going to start feeling better, and you're going to start congratulating yourself and saying, like, oh wow, there's been a dramatic change here. This is pretty good. So then you'll start, and what happens is, number one, people stop being so vigilant and stop making the same choices, and they start adding things that they shouldn't be doing. That's number one. Number two is the motivation is that, this is where I'm going. I'm almost there. Hey, this is enough weight. And all of a sudden now your desire to go back and eat the foods you did before. So what we do is, rather than looking at weight loss, we actually look at it as health gain. So the first phase, and you showed that earlier, was that we go through these steps to reach a healthy weight, and that is generative. It moves us into an advancing structure where we're now going to continue to get healthier and healthier. So as you reach a healthy weight, we're adding exercise. We're making sure your sleep's better. We're adding the micro habits within the other habits of health to make sure you're continuing to build on it, and that way you'll continue. And the third part is the physiologic part. As you lose weight, you're losing mass. And even though fat cells don't consume as much energy as muscle cells, they actually consume energy. So your total caloric intake will have to go down as you reach your healthy weight. And if you don't do it, if you stay the same, the discrepancy between the energy in and the energy out will be less, and you will lose less weight. So we help you with that.
Great. We got more questions coming. The next one is, what should I be eating to lose weight? And obviously people know that they shouldn't be eating the junk foods, but talk a little bit more about some of the nutritional pollution that's out there, or even just some of the myths that are out there about healthy eating.
Yeah, well, first of all, I was on a TV yesterday morning, and I was talking with the news anchor, and we were talking about eating healthy because it's February's National Heart Month. And I said, well, yeah, it's great to eat these healthier foods, but you have to have portion control. So it really starts with portion control. It's about, a 9-inch plate. It's about making sure we're not eating all these foods that are full of sugar. Just, you showed a slide there that's basically all about sugar. And here's a slide from the from my book, Habits of Health. And it really shows that we have wide fluctuations because, most people think they're going to go to, Dunkin' Donut in the morning and have a coffee and a donut. And that's how they start the morning. And the reason why they do that is because they didn't sleep well the night before, because they didn't apply that habit of health, because they had a coffee the afternoon and they still had the half-life of that caffeine in them. So they didn't sleep the night before. So in the morning, their body craves energy. So they go and get more sugar and have coffee, more caffeine, and it creates this cycle. And as you can see, their insulin, 78 million Americans have metabolic syndrome or insulin resistance. That's a fourth of our population because of the dietary intake. The slide, I think it's the next slide, Dave, you show where it shows it's going to come up in a minute, but you're going to show a slide of showing an individual eating healthy versus not eating healthy. Once we turn off that fat storage mechanism, insulin modulates. Insulin is the key modulator of your fat control, of your energy, of your metabolism. And when we stop eating all this high sugary food, it didn't exist before 12,000 years ago. We basically ate all natural stuff, and we ate it when we could find it, and it was fresh. Now we eat all this processed sugar, and sugar by itself, we eat over 130 pounds of excess sugar a year. It's crazy. And if you look at it, what ends up happening is we don't eat, and we eat usually, won't eat breakfast because we think, well, I'll save it and have it for dinner. Well, we know this. We know that eating every 3 hours is, as I call it, the science of 6 fuelings. You're more likely to be healthy, more likely to be at a healthy weight. The National Weight Control Registry showed eating smaller meals throughout the day is much more efficacious at maintaining healthy weight. Because think about it. You're fueling your body throughout the day. And rather than sacrificing all day, getting into starvation mode, stimulating all these hormones that start, eating at your muscle and using that as an energy source. And then you eat this huge meal at night, and it causes this massive overload. And so we're not functioning efficiently. So eating every 3 hours is cool. And I've been doing that now for 15 years, and it makes all the difference.
Well, and a lot of people struggle with just the concept of, preparing and planning and purchasing and then just making that choice. I mean, everybody's, hustling and bustling around with kids and with events and work. Talk a little bit more about the optimal weight plan and how that is a nice on-ramp for even the person that may be thinking that they're already doing the right thing or they know what to do, they just need to do it.
Yeah. Well, the whole deal is we need to know how many calories, but who wants to, maybe if you're an analytical, you enjoy it, but I just have no patience to sit there and measure how many calories I ate. So what I know is portion control. I either know portion control through a visual analog system, which is in the Habits of Health, where we use 9-inch plate and cut it in half and a quarter, or I use meal replacements. And so the 5 and 1 is that throughout the day, I can actually control my energy consumption. So if you look at the whole basis behind the Habits of Health, it's all about energy management. So if you look at this slide, you can see before people start focusing on creating a healthy weight and eating healthy, they're eating more calories than they're out. And that's pretty much it. People can say what they want about, well, my metabolism isn't good. And that could be true. You may not be very active. You may be really overweight and sedentary. You may not have a lot of non-exercise activity, thermogenesis. But the reality is you're eating more calories. You don't gain weight unless you're eating more calories than you're expending. So people don't even realize when they first do their logs and look, all these calories they're getting from all these things. And the food industry isn't helping us. From the time we get up to the time we go to bed, people are trying to feed us calories. So in first phase, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on giving you an easy system that will allow you to lose weight quickly and safely. And that's why I went to MetaFast initially. And that is where Take Shape for Life has become this incredible optimal health company where we actually focus on helping people create long-term success throughout all their behaviors, but it starts with getting you doing something. It's about progress, and the easiest way for most people who don't understand nutrition, and most people don't, actually most of my brethren, my colleagues don't really understand nutrition, and a lot of physicians are struggling with their own health and their own weight. But in the beginning, we find things that you like, soups, chilies, bars, shakes, pancakes, all these things you're seeing in this picture have around 100 calories. And what we do is they have the same nutritional footprint, so you're getting all the vitamins and minerals, but portion controlled, high quality. There's no drugs in these, but people ask that. They're very convenient. And the whole thing is overcome the logistical barriers. We don't have much time. We're very busy, and we end up going to fast food restaurants because they're fast. That's why they do so well. Over $140 billion spent on fast food. So what we do instead is have these very controlled, very healthy meal replacements that have all the vitamins and minerals. They're complete. They have balanced protein and carbohydrate, lower fat, and they put us in position so that when you're running around like crazy, just like this morning, rather, I was hungry when I got up. I had a really busy, long day yesterday. It started at 6 in the morning going on TV, and I got here into Dallas late at night, and I got up this morning, I was hungry, but I had a meal replacement. I had 100 plus calories, had vitamins and minerals, protein. I feel awesome, and I didn't go down and eat a very heavy, fat-laden buffet with eggs and bacon and all the stuff, which is what I probably, would have done if I was in that environment. So the cool thing is we want to teach you how to eat healthy, but in the short run, we want to make sure physiologically that we're helping you start to lose weight and get healthy.
Great. Craig, do you have a question from any of the participants in regards to nutrition?
Yeah, we do. We have quite a few actually in regards to nutrition. One of them specifically talks a little bit about how does the disease, we know that disease is an inflammatory process and obesity is an inflammatory process. How does this plan reduce inflammation so quickly, resulting in medicine reductions occurring in 2 weeks or less?
Well, that's a whole day seminar going through all of that. But I'll tell you in the short run, fat cells. We have a triad. So we have muscle, we have interstitial, we have fat fibroblasts, we have fat cells. And what happens is the differentiation is that fat cells, we were designed to store energy, and so our fat cells were there to be able to be a receptacle to have that extra energy to carry us through times of famine where we didn't have a lot of food, through child rearing, through having gestation. But what happens is if we look at those fat cells, once we get overweight, they actually look like under electron microscope. They look like overstuffed lasagna. They become overfilled with with transmitters, hormone transmitters that move out. And what they do is they stimulate the body to increase its blood sugar, to basically increase the important components that regulate blood pressure. And the other thing they do is the body senses it as being non-self because it realizes and it attacks that fat and causes an increase in inflammation. So the first thing that happens, and it's beautiful, as we lose weight, and it doesn't have to be using our program. Listen, we're about helping people create health. How you do it is up to you. We're simply giving you a great way that we found that works great, which is cost effective for you. That doesn't cost any more than regular food. So it's an easy way because it's way beyond just losing the weight. It's not just the diet. It's actually about teaching you a lifestyle and giving you the support. But the point is, as you lose weight in general, that inflammation level will go down directly because you're decreasing the amount of fat you have. That's the first thing. The second thing is when you eat food, specifically our meal replacements, they're very low glycemic, which means they don't raise your blood sugar. And we know that sugar and things that raise your blood sugar stimulate inflammation. So those are the two powerful dynamics going. One is you're losing the weight. The other is you're not eating anymore these foods that are very inflammatory in nature. And together, people feel great. They say probably within a week, their energy level's up, they feel great, and they go, what's in this stuff? There must be some kind of stimulant. Well, the stimulant is it's eating healthy, losing weight, getting off that sugar routine. It's incredible.
Hey, Dr. A, just a follow-up to that. Well, one thing I've heard some people is when you have high inflammation, you kind of feel old. And one of my clients said one time, that's old people food, And so I want to actually have you speak to that. What's the eating fake food versus learning how to eat healthy foods, and what's that? You kind of spoke to that a little bit. To talk about that just a little bit more in detail.
Yeah, but I'd like to reframe old, because old chronologically,
yeah.
Okay,
old biologically.
Before I'm getting ready to jump out of a helicopter in British Columbia, and I feel younger than I did when I was 40. So chronologically, if you're thinking of old that way, old is when physiologically you're old. And like you said, when you have inflammation, you're actually attacking every area, and specifically your brain. When you eat, first of all, when you exercise and you eat healthy, it's like taking Ritalin for focus. You're much more focused. And it's like taking Prozac in terms of your energy level. So what if you could just be active and eat healthy and feel great all day versus taking a medicine which has a lot of side effects and over time doesn't work anymore? So the whole idea is the more we eat healthy, the more we move, the more we adapt the habits of health, your body has the inherent capacity to heal itself. But if you stop at Dunkin', I'm picking on Dunkin' Donut today. It's not just Dunkin' Donut. It's all the fast food places. Wherever you go, if you're eating processed food, what you're doing is you're stimulating your insulin, which lowers your blood sugar, but your blood sugar goes up. It creates inflammation. It attacks. Remember, your blood bathes every cell in your body. So if you're sending out things that are attacking your body's in a defense mode and it gets fatigued, and that's why it feels like that. So by eating healthy, I mean, literally, I drive a sophisticated sports car, and I'll tell you, I would never, ever, ever put regular gas in it. Never. Because why? The car sputters and it coughs. So why would we even think of putting this junk in our body? So absolutely, Craig.
Well, Dr. A, there's a lot of people that are on this call that are maybe already at a healthy body weight or already doing really well in the area of nutrition. Talk about this graduation into a 3-in-3 optimization plan.
Yeah, and that's actually what I use. That's what Laura uses. That's what my daughters use. And that's what most of my friends use that have been with us for a while. Is we eat healthy, but we eat every 3 hours. So with our busy lifestyle, meal replacements, we use them in between. But the goal is, by the way, and for those of you who are listening, the goal is always to eat healthy food. We'd love you to eat, obviously organic, healthy food that you go to Whole Food and get if it's in your budget, or at least some version of it. The goal is to teach you over time through the habits of health to eat all healthy food. And you don't need to use the meal replacements. I use them because the alternative either is I don't eat, which is bad. And last night's a great example. I was on a Southwest plane for 3.5 hours, and they bring around this pure high fructose corn syrup in 5 different variations in pretty boxes. But if you look at it, it's all about sugar and carbohydrate and salt. And so rather than doing it, and I was hungry because I didn't have time to eat dinner till I got here. So I was on a plane. I was hungry. I reached in, got a meal replacement, had a meal replacement, felt great, versus eating the junk that was in front of me. So that's the first reason. The second reason is that if I can eat healthy, I'm going to pick healthier things because I've learned what's good for me, what's not good for me. So like last night, I got here late. I knew I didn't want to eat much. So we went in, Lori and I went in and got a couple appetizers and had some smaller portions and felt great. Great taste, great flavor. And yet basically I had probably 500 calories total, which is what you want. You don't want to suddenly at the end of the night have a huge meal, engorge on all this stuff, and then go to bed. It's the worst possible thing you could do. So it's all about learning to eat every 3 hours and to pick choices that support your health.
Great. For those of the participants that are watching live now or watching the recording, if you contact the health coach that invited you or the person that invited you, they can refer you to page 120 and 121 of Dr. A's Habits of Health book. There's over 67 healthy natural food fuelings in there. And then that health coach can also provide you with the list of over 80 different healthy fuelings that come from the Take Shape for Life program if you have an interest in exploring that further. Craig, let's go ahead and take that third survey in regards to partnerships and the benefits of partnering with other people.
And while you're doing it, you're going to say the survey?
Yeah, so it says, have you heard partnering with someone else with your health goals makes the difference, makes all the difference in your results? And yeah.
Everybody can come back to your computer and cast your vote. That'd be great.
Yeah, while they're doing that, let me...
No and sure, but I'm still trying to do it on my own. I've heard it, but I'm not doing it.
While they're answering that, I want to go back just for a moment because this is a big one. I hear this a lot. Are meal replacements as healthy as eating healthy food? Well, basically what we've done is we've created, they don't grow on trees. Okay, so no, the answer is no. But they're healthy. But the point is, if you're eating organic, going to Whole Foods, eating that, but you're overweight, you're not healthy. So what we're using them for is as a tool to reach a healthy weight, and then to use them as a convenient way so that you're eating healthy. What's nice about the meal replacements, they're low glycemic, they don't stimulate insulin, they don't stimulate inflammation, they're portion control, they have all the vitamins and minerals, and so they're a great way when I don't have time to prepare, or as Dave was saying, go and take a Ziploc bag or something and have a healthy food with me, because we find ourselves many times, and we're in an obesogenic world where everything around you is not healthy. And by the way, I will tell you one other thing. If you think you're going to go into McDonald's or Burger King because they have a salad and get a salad, you're not. They do that specifically to get you in the door, and then when you get in there, every study shows you're going to eat a burger because that's what they make, good burgers. They don't make great salad. It'd be very rare unless you're someone that's now disciplined to go and do that. So why put ourselves in position? Why even go into a place like that? Because basically, remember, willpower is a limited resource. If you're trying to get healthy with willpower, you are going to fail, period.
Well, let's talk about that skill power and overcoming cravings and other barriers, because you talk about the idea of helping an individual step by step to kind of rewire their brain to break some of those unhealthy habit loops. So would you mind just walking us through this craving loop that you've designed?
Yeah, well, let me just go back to the meal replacement for a minute, because this is the thing. What we have almost categorically, people, when they use the meal replacement, and listen, in the book, I teach you, if you don't want to use the meal replacement, that's your option, and that's fine. It's a lot more work in the beginning. We'd like you to learn those things, but in the beginning, it's easier with the meal replacements. And what we find is when people use and go on the 5 and 1 and use the meal replacements, within a week, their cravings go away naturally because of the physiology. We're lowering their blood sugar, but they're using their natural fat as an energy source, and so they have a high energy level. Their brain is getting great fuel. They don't have the cravings. But in general, what we're talking about here is we end up getting cues, and like this cue is talking about a candy bar. Basically, sugar is more addictive than heroin. In fact, if they take rats and they have the choice of heroin or sugar, they'll push the pedal on sugar. So what ends up happening is they get this reward, and it actually creates this anticipation. So when they see a visual analog that this pedal is going to give them sugar, before they even have it, they'll start to secrete insulin and start to feel it. And if they don't get it, their blood sugar goes down, and then physiologically they need it. So they don't just need it. They don't just need it psychologically; they need it physiologically. So what we want to do, and what loops are about, is substituting something so that you can maintain the loop, because habits are habits. You don't break habits. You either replace them with good ones and make them insignificant, or you change whatever it is that they're stimulating to substitute for that. So I'll give you an example. So one of the, and this is important, and I love this, is those jogging shoes. So what I started doing, I'm getting ready to go heli skiing. So I wanted to make sure that I was actually going down and getting on the treadmill every single morning. And I don't particularly like to exercise. I do it because it supports what I want, but it's not something I love. But when I do it, after I do it, I feel good and I have great energy and it helps me. So that's how I reinforce the positive loop. But the jogging shoes, what I have is in my bedroom, when I get up in the morning, versus going and taking a shower and then thinking of something or getting on my computer, I look at my jogging shoes there and it stimulates me. Yep, boom, you got to go down and exercise. So we want to basically make it easier. We want to automate, because if every day you have to negotiate whether I'm going to exercise or whether I'm not going to eat that hot fudge sundae, you're putting yourself in harm's way because your willpower just isn't that strong.
Well, and speaking about exercise, Dr. A, there's a lot of people asking questions about how much exercise, or they think that they're exercising off their calories that are in excess, or they're going to burn off the fat through exercise. Talk a little bit about how much a person should exercise.
Well, first of all, it's virtually impossible to reach a healthy weight with exercise alone. If you don't change your energy intake, what you're eating, because and especially in women, there's a thing called compensation, where if you go to the, you go to the gym, and then you end up going after, you're going to be really, really hungry, and it's going to be very difficult. You've created oscillating structure. You've created an oscillating structure because you're going to be really hungry, and even though you want to lose weight, you're going to be hungry, and the hunger is going to overcome that. So the first thing is to understand losing weight. And what I actually say is that in the first phase, what I love about the way we've designed the Habits Health system is in the beginning, we don't want you exercising to begin with. If you're 50 pounds overweight, the last thing we want you doing is pounding on your knees, hurting your back, because if you hurt yourself, your musculoskeletal system or your joints, then you're going to limit your ability to be active and you're going to actually worsen your health. So we focus on the energy inside. It's the quickest way. we can lose weight quickly and safely by using the meal replacement. So, but as you're using the meal replacements, because you asked me that question earlier, Craig, about, it seems as I'm getting towards my healthy weight, my weight loss is slowing down. That's usually because you haven't added activity. As we lose weight, we want to get more active, and naturally you'll feel like being more active. So we put together a daily plan, and we start with very simple things. How are you outside in your work and also in your play? What are things you can do to just say no to machines? So for instance, if you don't have to go very far to work, then basically take a bike or walk. Second, if you're going to park and go to the mall, if it's in the wintertime, park your car farther away from the wall and walk there. If you're at work, basically get a headset and stand up rather than sit down. Remember, every hour that you're sitting on your rear decreases your life by 22 minutes. So what we're going to do is teach you the habits of healthy motion. We'll start off very slowly, making sure that you can do these things. Remember, when someone goes out the first day of January and says, well, I'm going to start jogging every day, and they go out and try to run 5 miles, the next few days they're in bed with shin splints and they can't hardly move. So the idea here is that this is not a sprint, it is a marathon. So we want in small steps to help you learn the habits of health so that they now become automated, so now you're making good choices. And daily activity, being more active is an incredible part of long-term health. It's not a great part of weight loss, but as you're reaching a healthy weight, it becomes an instrumental part of maintaining a healthy weight, and secondarily, a absolutely prerequisite for creating optimal health and living a longer, healthier life.
Great. Craig, you have a exercise question from the participants?
Yeah, one of the biggest ones is 2 questions that I see a lot coming up here is one of them is about why you wait 3 weeks to add exercise, and the other one is why do we keep it to 45 minutes?
Well, that's an amazing question, and the first part is because what we want to do is we're switching your fuel source. Okay, most people are living on carbohydrates. That's the active energy source that their body's using. During the weight loss part of our program, we're switching on fat burning. And as we do that, it's kind of like, if you think about it, you're changing your furnace. You had a furnace that was designed to do coal, and now you're using one that uses basically diesel. That's the kind of thing that's happening. And to make sure that that's working effectively, we want to make sure we get you in a great fat burning state, number one. Number two, if you exercise in the beginning, what you do is you're going to, in that transition, you actually, your body preferentially, because it's easier to use, it'll want to use your carbohydrate or your energy source. And what it'll do is it'll suck that out, and your blood sugar will go down because your body hasn't adjusted to now using this new fuel source. And what'll happen is you'll get very hungry, number one. Number two, you can get lightheaded, hypoglycemic, which can make you lightheaded. And the third thing is you're stimulating all these hormones like epinephrine and norepinephrine and cortisol, and the body may actually think you're in starvation, and as a result of that, may slow down your weight loss. So there's lots of good reasons that we don't want you overdoing it, especially till your body really gets used to it. But as your body acclimates to using your fat, then you can progress your activity to the point where now you have a nice balanced program.
Dr. Ray, you talk about the support as being one of the critical factors to helping an individual to overcome the barriers to live a healthy lifestyle. Talk about the support systems that you recommend people develop.
Well, we are who we hang with. Your 5 closest associates determine your behavior, everything from your behavior, your physicality, what you eat, how you move, how you handle stress, your finances, your state of mental health. It's really, really important to pick your friends. And, if we hang out with people that have poor habits, we're going to have the same habits. In fact, it's so important that when we actually focus on this, I'm not saying you should dump your friends completely, but if you're going and eating every weekend, every Friday, going to Fridays and having, 3,000 calories of fat and sugar, you're probably not going to be healthy. So what we do is we focus, number one, on having a partner, having someone you're going to get healthy with. It could be your spouse, If your spouse, by the way, is getting healthy, it's dramatically improved. But actually more important is your friend. If you have someone you hang with, do it together. Number two, get in a group, get in environments, underlying structures where you have the opportunity to be around like-minded people. Take your dog on a walk with some friends. Third thing is, if you can, get in a structure like we've created, our Optimal Health community. You have a coach to help support you to kind of build that accountability and responsibility. Two is you have this Optimal Health community where we give you our virtual clinic, where from the comfort of your home, you have access to kind of what we're doing today. I love what we're doing with our technology. This is one area where technology is serving us to work together to create a new mindset and help each other and encourage each other to be successful. So we want to teach people to not just educate themselves, but to put this into practical application. And the best way to do it is through social media, through this Optimal Health community, through Facebook, through gathering with your coach and hanging out together, having access to our nursing call and our doctor's call, using our Habits of Health call. We have a bunch of things we put in place. So from home, even if your spouse hasn't decided to get healthy or other people around you, you now have the opportunity to surround yourself with people with that same mindset that want to create health in their life.
Hey, Doctor, we have another one that quite a few people are asking, and it's actually around getting pregnant. And so I want to toss this one out here is, with our 5-in-1 plan and with if someone's desiring to get pregnant or someone that has been pregnant, the vitamins and nutrients that are in our products, how does those, what would you say about that?
Well, what I would say is that the body's designed to be at a healthy weight, to be physiologically active, to have all the systems working in top order. When a person is healthy, they're more likely for their body, including their ability to have conception and safely carry a fetus to term and have a healthy baby. All those things are enhanced. Here's a very interesting thing that's happened. People say, well, Dr. Anderson's responsible for this baby. Well, how could that be? I was in a whole different side of the country. But what they're saying is, especially for women that are looking to get pregnant, is when they're overweight, as they lose their weight, what happens is fat cells store a lot of estrogen. And what we find are women become super fertile as they lose weight. And this has nothing to do with Take Shape for Life, but as they lose weight because their estrogen level goes up. So we have a lot of women that actually claim, and again, this is not a claim we're making, but they seem to find that they suddenly, when they couldn't conceive, they ended up getting pregnant. So but the key thing is if we put our body in a state where it's as healthy as it can be, if we learn the habits of health, we're more likely to be able to get pregnant. And obviously if someone has a fertility issue, we don't have any claim or say on any of that. But I will tell you that people seem to do a lot better when they're healthy than when they're not healthy.
Hey, Dr. A, it might just be that as they're losing weight, they are changing the way they look, and they might be a little more chasing one another around.
Well, I'm not going to get into. This is not Dr. What's his name? What was his name?
Dr. Phil.
Yeah, no, not Dr. Phil. The one that Masters and Johnson. This is not a Masters and Johnson course. I claim no professional expertise on this. I'm not going to go there.
Well, Dr. A, as we wrap up today's Q&A session, we want to go into kind of the deeper end of the pool and talk a little bit more about moving into the trilogy of optimal health and addressing some of the problems behind the problem, going beyond physical health and talking about mental well-being and vocational well-being. Would you mind addressing this trilogy model you've created?
Yeah, and it's really cool because over the last 5 years, the Gallup poll, everybody's heard of the Gallup poll, they decided to evaluate and do surveys looking at well-being in the key areas. And, we've been using this model for 15 years now, way before they kind of looked at, how we could survey that. And in that, what I found is when I actually left critical care to focus on helping people create optimal well-being and health, was that it was more than their physical health. If they were not enjoying what they were doing day in and day out, if they were under a lot of stress, if they did not have the finances to support themselves, all that stress, stress is an independent indicator of poor physical health. So basically all those things work together. And if you look in the center, the sweet spot in the center is when we have balance in all three of those areas. And in the well-being evaluation, what you do for a living is 2 times more important than anything else in terms of your overall well-being. And so many people, less than 20%, are really happy in their job, what they love. They don't really love their job, and a lot of times it's because of their boss. So what's cool about what we do is we help people help each other, creates greater well-being by reaching out and helping others. And there's also the opportunity for this to be your vocation. And I can't tell you how excited I am. This is my vocation. And, I've had people say, I'm the America's health coach, but I'll tell you, I absolutely love what I do, what Lori loves, what she does. Our coaches, I know all these people, all the people that are here on the call today, we love what we do. And we find every day such joy in it. Like, this is the day, and actually, I guess theoretically I'm working here, but I love doing this. I love getting on. If I can in some way have one person that's listening today make the decision and start on this journey, stop letting all those concepts and some of those questions come from, well, this is what I think it is. Well, if you're fully present and you're really listening, there's something in this that will resonate, and hopefully you'll make the decision that, you know what, I'm tired of my story. I want to create a new story, one where I'm vibrant, where I'm healthy, where I'm having fun, enjoying, where I'm having fulfillment in my health and my life, and I want to move forward and be part of these cool people. And you know what? You can doubt us, but bottom line is, come join us and see what we got. Kick the tires on this. I will tell you that I've never done anything before which has all upside and really no downside. So, if I look at our medications, that we're 5% of the world's population. We consume 50% of the world's pharmaceuticals. The one pill we have is one where we hopefully will awaken you and put you in a place where you make the decision to start making choices, the habits of health that can support your health, support your life, and we're standing by to help you because you don't want to do it on your own.
Great. We have one last poll we'd like everybody to do, just a little bit of self-reflection. And again, the answers are confidential here, but we'd like to have you ask yourself some questions about where you are in that trilogy of optimal health that Dr. Andersen talked about, physical, mental, and financial or vocational well-being. And so go ahead and cast your vote here in the next 30 seconds, and then we'll wrap up the presentation in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, and while they're doing that, David, and I know you had it on the flyer for people to create interest. I wrote a ebook, basically, Stop, Challenge, and Choose, which is all about the 3 steps to creating optimal health. And that ebook's free, and in that there's a survey that they can actually take that really goes over what you're doing here. And what's neat about it is they can actually use that to kind of guide them. The book's free. They can download it. I think it's a great starting spot, and hopefully you'll start to realize that we're not trying to get anything from you. We actually love what we're doing. We want to awaken people, and we want to help people. Do our coaches get paid? Yeah, they get paid by the company for providing for you for free the opportunity to create and be there to be your guide. So we've actually taken away all excuses. So for those of you that want to create health in your life, we're standing by to help you. That's what we do.
Oh, yeah, it's such a great question. I'm going to give it 5 more seconds here. Everybody grab a vote. This is like really, really critical that you think about these 3 areas of your life. And I'll share the results with everyone here. Ready? Okay, here we go. Here's the results. These are pretty great. I don't know, Dr. A, if you want to just speak to these a little bit here, but this is some really.
Well, as you can see, obviously a lot of people are on their scores aren't necessarily great on their physical health, and we know that. We know that the country's suffering. Less than 5% of people are healthy. A healthy mind. People are really, really suffering. They have this systemic thinking, this monkey mind, so to speak, that's going on daily. That just incredible suffering where people aren't stopping, they're not challenging, and they're not fully choosing what they want in the moment. And then in terms of vocation, slide down. I can't see that one.
Yeah, the vocational goal was, well, you might be able to scroll with it on your
screen. Thing, I can see it on mine. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah, and you can see in terms of what people do, our finances, we're struggling in this country. We're looking to hopefully maybe elect someone that can help us. But I can tell you that I was talking to this guy on the plane last night. It's not going to come from who we elect. It's got to come from within. what we're
elect yourself, right?
You know, it's about yourself. Yeah, it's about awakening yourself and taking personal responsibility. What I love about what we've done is if you really are looking to improve the key areas of physical, mental, and financial in your own health, please sit down with the person that turned you on, our health coach, and spend time with them, kind of go over what's going on. Make sure you know that we're here to help you. We can help you stop where you are right now in your life. Basically spend the time to challenge, is what I'm doing now going to put me in position in those key areas to get better? Am I going to stay the same, or am I going to get worse? And then choose the potential to kind of, first of all, create health. You know, if you're healthy, if you're physically healthy, you may enjoy the job you're doing more. You may have greater mental health. Or if you don't really like what you're doing and that's the cause of why you're stressed out and why you're not physically healthy, think about joining us. You know, you can help a few people, or you can make this your full-time occupation. We're standing by looking. What we know is this, and the thing I always like to end my calls with, you know, our goal is to go out and get America healthy, and then hopefully the world. And I'm very, very strong. I think there's never been a time when there's such a disconnect. I left critical care many years ago because I felt I myself wasn't as healthy as I needed to be, and I wanted to move upstream and really help what I thought was actually a better service to man. And you guys can join us. It's a big mission we have, but together we can create health. So I leave you with this. Make the decision today to sit down with your coach and explore how either we can help you in your physical, mental, or financial health. And everybody have a great weekend. God bless. And I'm going to go watch my 15-year-old kick some rear and win the championship. So see you guys.
Make sure that you reach back to the health coach or the person that invited you and ask to speak more about the well-being evaluation, and to just have a conversation about how to create more health in your life. Our health coaches are here to support you on your goals. Whether or not Take Shape for Life is the right program for you, it's still yet to be determined. But if you're interested in exploring that, please reach out to the person that invited you or reach out to their health coach. And thanks for joining us on this Saturday. Thanks to Craig, my co-host, and to all of our certified optimal health coaches as panelists that answered all those questions. We wish you guys the very best in optimal health.